Hey everyone, it's Michele from the Marketing Junkie podcast, and in this video, I want to share this interview that I did with Jerry Potter of 5 Minute Social Media. And I am so excited for you to hear Jerry's story because he is such a great reminder of why time is our most valuable resource and why shortcuts are worth it and why people pay for shortcuts, both we as business owners and also the people that we are hoping to serve, right? Our potential customers. So Jerry is going to tell you all about his social media membership, what he charges, how many members he has, and also what his new membership site is all about and how he's hoping to grow each of them this year. So Jerry is now taking Stu McLaren's program for the third time. So in addition to kind of pulling the curtain back behind his own business, he's also going to tell you why he invested in Tribe the first time, why he's investing in it now a third time, what he hopes to get out of the Tribe experience this year, and exactly what his membership site goals are for this year. So I'm so excited for you to hear Jerry's story, and find Jerry's website, his free guide, and his YouTube channel all in the description of this video or in the show notes wherever you are listening or watching. All right, without further ado, here is my interview with Jerry. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jerry. How are you?
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this because I think this is such an opportunity for so many people. And, you know, one of my favorite quotes is about, this is going to be a terrible paraphrasing of it, but it's about how like our dreams are on the other side of our fears and we have to run into it. And then when you do, it's amazing. So I'm excited for the chance to share a little bit today.
Awesome. I'm excited too. So let's start off by letting everyone know who you are and who you serve, what your membership business is, and what it's all about.
I help overwhelmed entrepreneurs streamline their social media. And social media, as you know, seems to always be changing, and it feels so permanent because it's like, oh, well, we have to post 3 times a week forever. Like whatever like plan you decide on feels forever. And that's why it's really, really daunting. It's a lot of free work in the beginning. And so you're like, is this even worth it? And so I started this YouTube channel, honestly, as a hobby. I never thought I would have my own business, but I started this YouTube channel called 5 Minute Social Media to help entrepreneurs with their social media. And it took off. And now I get to do something that I love through that. So I'm very, very grateful.
Well, that's amazing. So 5 minute marketing tips or social media tips, that sounds super interesting. I'm going to check it out for sure. And when I was doing research on your business, it really intrigued me because social media is something I still struggle with. So I'm really excited to talk about it. So in your actual membership business, what do you currently offer people? What are your monthly deliverables?
So my main thing has been, figuring out how to simplify things for people because social media has come simply to me. In my previous career, I actually worked as a radio presenter or personality, depending on, what part of the world people are in. And so I was this professional content creator and engagement specialist before social media was a thing. And so when social media came along, it was just like, oh, okay, I can do this here now. And it wasn't until I talked to friends and they started asking like, hey, can you help me with this? So the goal of my membership is just to help people essentially get a simple idea of how to approach things. Because the thing with social media is there are so many things. There are hundreds of things that you could do, and 99 of them might not work. And so I've set it up so it's like, okay, when you first start, here's what you need to focus on. And then once you've got that going, focus on this. And my favorite part about it is, a lot of people say, well, social media, if I'm a real estate agent, I need social media for real estate agents. Or if I own an indoor playground, I need a social media for indoor playground owners or whatever it might be. But I have had, I have people in my membership. There's a guy in New Jersey in the United States that owns a traveling zoo. There are marketing people and coaches and authors like you'd expect. I had a woman take my course once who was part of the, what was it? She was like the vice president of social media for some war reenactment society, so it works across the board because it's not based on businesses. It's based on it's based on humans, right? It's not what you're putting out there. It's the way that your customers or clients are reacting. And it's been really, really fun. So the goal is that I teach, and you asked about deliverables. I offer a new master class every month. So whatever people are most interested in. I do an update called What's Working Now. I really like this one because I keep up with all of the changes in social media anyway. But for me as a membership site owner, it takes me, 15 minutes a week. I just go live. I talk about 3 things that are working and I'm done. I know when you're thinking about a membership, you're like, oh, well, I have to do all this stuff, but that's how easy it can be. And then I do what I call collaboration calls, where members can get on Zoom together and then break out into smaller rooms and help each other out. That's another nice, easy one. And then I do a live Q&A once a month. So it's been a really light feeling membership where I get to over deliver and really serve people.
Awesome. Yeah, that is one of the biggest misconceptions that I hear from people who are interested in starting a membership site, but maybe they're busy parents or they have a 9-to-5 and they just think, oh, I have to create monthly content forever. This feels like such a burden, but really I love, and that's exactly why I ask about monthly deliverables, because when you say it so plainly and matter of factly like that, it makes it seem so much simpler and so much easier to grasp. And I think it's really easy for people to wrap their head around it. And I love that you have a bunch of different things in different forms and you have the collaboration, because I think a lot of people think they just need to constantly create tons of new content. But really, a lot of times people just want they want guidance and things like that. So I love that you have that mix of kind of collaboration mixed with that content. So,
well, and I don't want to pretend that I had this all figured out from the beginning. When I first launched my membership in the original version, I was like, what do you guys need? I want to give you this and that and all of these other things. And it wasn't until later that I realized that, your membership business should serve your members, but it should serve your life too. And that's been the biggest gift of all, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of times we as business owners see these people that are super successful and assume that they had it all figured out from the beginning, but really those people have failed more than any of us, right? And it's just because they keep trying new things. I have 2 memberships. I relaunched one of my memberships. I'm on my 3rd relaunch just because I keep clarifying, I keep refining, I keep going back and saying, okay, how can I get people better results? How can I get them there faster and things like that? So I think that was such a good point. So in your membership, I know you mentioned you're a little bit into your journey. So how many members do you currently have and what is your current price point, out of curiosity?
So I do have 2 memberships, but the main one is, I have this YouTube channel that has grown exponentially, and we recently passed 100,000 subscribers. Again, it started as a hobby. I had no idea where this was going to go, but the interest was there. And so I just created this sort of entry-level membership, and it's $29 a month. And I think we're at about 140 members right now. And it's growing quickly. My original membership that I launched, I rebranded in March. And so, just to kind of give you a sense of this, like you talked about, once you launch and you work with people and you get clarity, the clarity is so powerful. So in March, I sort of rebranded, I changed the price point, I changed the deliverables, and I relaunched. And in March, at the beginning of March, I had 60 members, and we're at 140 now, just from finally, like you said, that clarity. I do have a higher end membership that's more direct coaching with me at $197 a month. That's relatively new. That's one I'm still working on the clarity on for sure. So, but the main one is that, it's $29 a month. It's simple. I love to over deliver, and people get a lot out of it. So it's been great.
Awesome. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because a lot of times people assume that we need to have thousands of members in order to make meaningful impact in other people's lives or in our lives, or change, the way our lifestyle or anything like that. But, I just did the quick math, and I went to school for math, but I'm terrible at math in my head. But that's over $4,000 a month in recurring revenue. So, just 140 people and showing up for them, that is a life-changing business for many people. So we don't need to attract thousands and thousands and thousands of people. We just need to find, a couple hundred people. Those people will, as soon as we start getting them results, will then become our marketing engine. And just like you said, start growing our membership exponentially. So I love hearing those numbers and doing the math and coming up with that. So we met through Stu McLaren's Tribe program. So is this your second year going through it now?
This will be my 3rd year. And it's funny because my first year was 2019. And I remember asking the group, like, no offense to you guys, but why are you going through this more than once? And all these people were like, oh, this and this and this and
I
this.
did the same thing.
Yeah. And so we had the opportunity to sign up again last year. I was like, yeah, I'm in. And then, same thing this year, because you hear things differently the further along you get, the more that you the more your business evolves, you might hear the same thing. You go, I've heard that before, but I'm hearing it differently now. But the other thing is that when you are part of this group of people that are all going through it, some people are ahead of you, some people are behind you. Maybe it's your first time, everybody's ahead of you. That's okay. It's so motivating and inspiring. So that's one of the biggest parts. And that's why you see people go through it over and over again.
Yes, exactly. And I even maybe went a step further last year and not only said, why are people going through this multiple times, but, I had a membership site since 2016. I really didn't expect to learn a whole lot.
Right.
I was a little bit smug about it. That is one of my worst qualities that I'm always constantly trying to work on. But I was absolutely blown away by even just making a few simple tweaks in those first couple modules. It really just gave me so much more clarity. I was like sleeping better at night. I was blown away by not only the content, like you said, but the thing that keeps coming up, the word that keeps coming up is like this energy, this group, this community of other people going through the same thing. So I know what I'm looking forward to most this year, but what are you looking forward to most in this year of Tribe?
Well, one of the reasons that I love what I do is I love helping people and helping them see what they can do and things like that. So I'm excited for the Facebook group that's part of Tribe to, it's open now for those of us that have signed up again, but obviously it's not open for other people to sign up yet. So soon there's going to be this infusion of hundreds or thousands of new people and energy. And, that's always the thing that I'm most impressed with, because I love seeing the stories. And, you'd mentioned people going through more than once. One of my favorite things is somebody who says, yeah, I had this membership and then I took Tribe and it was just this one idea. And all of a sudden I tripled my membership, or I sleep better at night, or, whatever it might be. And I might be like you, or I take a course and I'm like, see what I get out of this. Right. And I've had people take my course and they say, I feel like I already knew, how to build my own social media marketing plan, but this one idea or this two ideas changed everything. And that's all it takes. So I'm just looking forward to just being back as part of that community again. That's the big, powerful thing. Even though there's somewhat of a community year round, in the springtime is when it's at its biggest and most energetic.
Yeah, absolutely. I love seeing all the new, fresh ideas and faces, and taking it even a step further. I love the larger Facebook group, but I'm actually looking most forward to the breakout rooms. I love being able to really dig deep on people's businesses, see what's working for them, see what's not working for them, because there's so much insight, not just from Stu and the Tribe team, but also from the other business owners who, again, some may be, like you said, ahead of us, some may be behind us, but I love getting the intimate connection with those breakout rooms. And just, it kind of makes that huge Facebook group feel a little bit more personal.
Yeah. And learning.
So did you have your membership site before you took Tribe?
I didn't. I had no intentions of having a membership. To be honest, this is the sad part of my story, is that basically I had this YouTube channel and it didn't start quickly. I think it took me 6 months to get 100 subscribers, but then a month later it was 1,000, and then a year later it was 10,000. And I had a guy just like message me cold on LinkedIn, and he's like, "Hey, so you must be like making all kinds of money with his YouTube channel. You must be doing really well. How are you making money?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's kind of a hobby, right now." And it was this total stranger. And he said, "You should have a membership. Like, people will sign up and then you just keep helping them and they'll keep coming back every month." And I was like, okay, sounds good. I like that. Cause I'm not a big, like, hard seller. I can never be a salesperson. I've gotten very comfortable talking about my products because I know they work, but as far as, like, I can never work at a car dealership or sell insurance or, anything like that. And so he was the one that just said, "Hey, get a membership site." I did a little research and read about Stu McLaren and Tribe. And it was, at that point, it was just, I've already gotten to the point in my life where I know shortcuts are worth paying for. And so I signed up for Tribe in April of that year or whenever it was. And then I launched my membership in July. And I was kind of like waiting for the lessons to come out, because I'm like, come on, keep coming out. Just because I couldn't wait to pull the trigger and actually get something up there.
That's awesome. And I love that you've reached this level of success in just a couple years. So that's really inspiring. So what would you kind of say to somebody, because a lot of people haven't come to that conclusion yet. I've come to that conclusion within the last couple years that shortcuts are worth it. I had an okay membership site for a couple years. It was kind of stuck around like, I think it was like between 80 and 100 members. I could not break past that ceiling. So what would you say to somebody who is considering a membership, considering Tribe, but might be on the fence and kind of a little bit timid or afraid to make that investment?
Well, I mean, it's not this is not a $97 course. It's an investment, and it's an investment of money and your time. And to me, both of those things are really valuable. But as we mentioned a couple minutes ago, sometimes it's just one idea. But in this case, you're going to get literally the full blueprint, and you're going to go in and you're going to go, oh, how do I, how much should I charge? And there's lessons about that. And you're going to go, well, what about the tech? And there's lessons about that. But then there's going to be lessons about things that you never even thought of. And you go, oh gosh, yeah, this too. And so for me, everybody's at a different point in their life. I've just gotten to the point in my life where my time is the most valuable thing that I have. And it's funny, when I signed up for Tribe, it was, this will age me a bit, but it was more than it was per quarter when I went to the University of Washington, and college was a lot cheaper, back a little bit, but I was joking with people. I'm like, this is the most I've ever spent on education at the time, but it was well worth it, because you could sit here and you could, try and launch a membership and get 17 people. And, then 6 months later, you've dwindled down to 11 and you don't know how to relaunch or get more people. Or you can literally get this, step-by-step guidance that you can go back to and refer over and over again. That, I always like to say, where do I want to be a year from now? And I didn't want to still be figuring it out a year from now. I wanted to have it up and running. And so that was why it was a no-brainer to me. So that's what I would say is if this is something that you are considering, or, even a little bit, it's well worth it because of the clarity that you'll get out of the whole thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. For my first couple years in business, I was still pretty young. I had just left my corporate job, and I was like, you know what? I have time to figure it out. I don't need to make this investment. I can easily get there myself through trial and error. And then I had a child, and then I had 2 children, and one of them has special needs that requires a lot of time and attention. So that was kind of the point for me. I, knew that I could make more money. I knew that I could make the $2,000 back. And something that I remember from watching Stu's free class was that you only have to get, I think, 8 members paying $25 a month and keep them for a year in order to more than make up for your investment in Tribe. So that just kind of stuck in my mind. And I said, you know what? I can do this. I can find 8 people that I can help and that I can impact. And then those 8 people are going to turn into 16, and are going to amplify from there. So that breaking it down so simply like that, I just have to keep them happy and learning and getting results for a year. That's what really made me pull the trigger. And just like you said, I can always make more money, but time, all of a sudden, like I had to turn on a dime and say, okay, my time is now very scarce. I need a shortcut. I need to get there a lot faster. And I'm ready for this business to actually make a huge impact in my life. Whereas before it was kind of like a side hustle. It was something that I was doing on the side. I was still doing mostly one-on-one work with clients. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't be on the phone all day with these 2 kids. That's why I keep muting myself like in between, because it's crazy. So I was ready for a shortcut. And that was really the selling point for me, was that I knew I could make more money. And I love how Stu broke it down so simply like that. And I don't have any more time. I can't spend years getting it right, just like you said. So I'm super excited for Tribe to start this year. I cannot wait. The excitement is already off the charts in the Facebook group, as you mentioned. But do you have any specific membership site goals for this year, or anything you want to kind of clarify or refine through this Tribe experience?
It's been interesting because, every year as an entrepreneur, you kind of get more clarity about where you want to be. And sometimes those things change. And this is the year. So last year, just to pull back the curtain a little bit, I had a course and I launched it 4 times. And it was a year where, nobody knew what was happening. My wife had been laid off earlier in the year, so she was out of work all year. The kids were home. And so I just kept launching my course because it was at a higher price point, and I was kind of operating out of crisis mode. So my big thing this year is, as I mentioned, my entry-level membership is $29 a month. And I've tried to design that so that it's affordable, even if somebody has a part-time business, that it's, worth it for them if they're looking to grow their social media. And so my goal this year is to just go through and use everything that Stu teaches to perfect that model. And there's been times when, we will, obviously as entrepreneurs, we'll check our bank balances and, tax season comes up and things like that. But for me, I've been tempted like, oh, I should launch my course again, but I really want to just go all in and refine this thing. And I truly believe that this is the way that I can help the most possible people, and enjoy the lifestyle that I want. And so it's just about perfecting this. And before I had a membership, my original membership, I think eventually it gotten up to, I started at 24 and it went to $99 a month. And this was the me that just kept adding more stuff and things like that. And I finally realized that, this simple way is the way that it should be. And you can ask yourself, what would this look like if it was easy? And it's hard in the beginning because we're all full of doubt. Like, well, what if they don't like it? But for most of us, whatever the membership is, we always tend to lean on giving them way too much instead of keeping it simple. And it was actually something Stu said. We were talking about hearing something again later. He basically said, if you can't batch your deliverables, in other words, you can't sit down and crank them out, ahead of time, then it's probably not a good deliverable. And so for my new one, the monthly masterclass takes time, but it's my favorite thing to do. But the What's Working Now update, the collaboration calls, are just an hour a month, and the Q&A is an hour to an hour and a half a month, depending on how many questions there are. And that's it. And that is the magic of building a membership, is you can build it to match your lifestyle. And, then the sky's the limit, which is the best part of all.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my biggest mistake with my first membership that I launched in 2016. I was all about the bells and whistles, and there was 80 hours of content, and I was doing like 2 trainings weekly, and I didn't realize how overwhelming it would be for people, right? I only had one baby. He wasn't even crawling yet, I think, when I launched that first membership. And I was like, why can't they, consume all of this content? I was putting so much out there, but the consumption rate was really low. So the success that I was getting people was really non-existent. So when I realized that people actually need less from me, they need it in a more concise manner. And something that Stu said yesterday in the masterclass was that people don't pay for information, right? They pay for a transformation, they pay for results. And if you can get them there quickly and more easily, that's when they're going to actually pay for your membership. I was all about like, there's 80 videos, and I was just stacking those line items. And I was like, why aren't people so excited about this? And through Tribe, it became really clear to me that the faster you can get people the result that they desire, the better off you're going to be, the easier your sales are going to be, and the more success you're going to be able to get people, right? Because we're all busy. So thank you so much for sharing your story. So I think we all probably want to check out your YouTube channel and your membership. So where can we find you? And
sure.
I will link this as well.
You can go to 5minutesocialmedia.com. It's spelled out FIVE. minutesocialmedia.com. Right there, I have a thing that I call the social media quick fix guide, which are some short videos to help people fix like the biggest problems around social media with engagement and reach and sales. Something that I've sold in the past, but I have it free on my website right now if anybody wants to check it out. And then YouTube, you can just search for 5 Minute Social Media and it should come right up. So
awesome. I'm definitely going to look it up again, even though I did a little research before this, because I'm really good at blogging. I'm really good at YouTube. I'm not great at social media. So I'm really excited. That's one of my goals this year, is to be more consistent, show up more on social media.
Awesome. All right.
All right. I will see you in Tribe this year. Thank you so much.
See you soon.